The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, hello and welcome to our part 2 webinar of 8 punctuation marks. I'm Professor Nguyen, an IELTS professor here at Avant Healthcare Professionals, and we're doing these series of webinars to help you out with your English skills and IELTS skills. You may have already had one of the webinars with Ray with some of the IELTS skills. We had punctuation 1, I believe, the other day, and now punctuation 2. So we can look at the last 4 punctuation marks. So it's not probably be maybe 30 minutes if it's that long, a little short presentation for today. All right. Now, don't forget, I put a handout in the handout section here. Don't forget to pick that up. It's a PDF of this presentation. So if you attended the last presentation, you would have that PDF and a PDF of this presentation as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. So in the last, in the last webinar, we looked at the period, the comma, the colon, and the question mark. And today, the last 4, the exclamation point, quotation marks, the parentheses, and also the apostrophe. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. And as I said, today we're looking at the exclamation point, the quotation marks, the parenthesis, and apostrophe. All right, so as you know, punctuation very important for the IELTS exam. It helps you with your cohesiveness and also your coherence, so that you don't have 2 ideas running together, and that the reader is able to follow what you've written. And of course, that's going to help you with your clarity of your message, and help the reader, the IELTS official in this case, to be able to give you a good score. So let's look at first up the exclamation point. So an exclamation point is used to show emphasis or excitement. So for example, I won the lottery. So if you won the lottery, you probably would have a lot of emotion, a lot of happiness, and you would exclaim it. And if you write that down, then you would write that with the exclamation point. All right. Quotation marks. Very interesting topic here. Now, you're not necessarily going to have probably quotations in your writing task 1 or writing task 2 in IELTS. But this can help you in a broader sense. If you're writing English, one day you may write a novel or something and you have dialogue. We're going to take a look at that with quotation marks. This difference, the punctuation with quotation marks varies slightly than from what the British do with US English. So let's take a look at the quotation marks. All right, so you use a quotation mark to set off a direct quotation. Let's look here. Okay, here's a quotation from Steve Jobs. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Notice we have the colon here, and then we have set off the quotation in with the quotation marks. So you begin with the quotation mark, and then you have the ending quotation marks. And notice the period, and this is the difference with the British English. In US English, the period is located inside the quotation marks. Inside the quotation marks. All right, another use of quotation marks. Notice that the periods and commas always go inside with US grammar, as I was just stating. showing you here the period within the quotation marks. This is, as I said, a difference with British English. Let's look at another example here. Now, this would be like if you were writing dialogue, right? If you were writing a novel or a story and you wanted to have dialogue, we also use the quotation marks. For example, picked up some bread and jam at the market, Rob's mom said as he left the house. Now, in this case, we have the comma inside the quotation marks, and then we have the person who said the quotation that follows. And as you can see, you also have another little short phrase behind it to try to give you some context, as if when you were writing a story. So you have quotations, of course, for quotes, and you have quotations for dialogue. All right, the parenthesis. Well, you know, this does have a relevance to the IELTS test. If you have been studying the IELTS and for writing task 1, sometimes you'll notice, and this is a good good tactic you want to use on writing task 1. Many times, you know, when you're looking at a graph or a chart, you have, maybe you're looking at commodities like cotton or gold or silver. Maybe they have 3 commodities and they're measured by pounds or kilogram or something. So when you're talking about the commodities, you can use a parenthesis and put in the 3 commodities that you're talking about. And I'm going to show you why you can do that. And this is something that they look for actually on the writing task 1 for the IELTS. So we use the parenthesis to enclose words or figures that clarify or add an extra comment. For example, the term of the lease, 6 years, is too long for our business needs. Now, as I was saying, for the writing task 1 on the IELTS, if you're looking at a chart or a graph and it had gold and silver and platinum, for example, as the three metals they're talking about. You could write a sentence, the 3 metals, and then in parentheses you could put in gold, silver, and platinum, and then finish the rest of your sentence. As I said, that's a good style to use on the writing task 1 report, and it's something that they look for. This is where the parenthesis comes in handy. All right, and finally, the apostrophe. The apostrophe. Let's look at some of the uses for the apostrophe in English punctuation. First, of course, and this is probably what most people are familiar with the contraction, it is using the apostrophe for a contraction, where it replaces the missing letter. For example, she can't be hungry. She just ate 2 Big Macs. So notice our contraction can't. And actually, in this one, it stands for the N and the O that are missing. So when you use the apostrophe with the contraction, it's to replace the letters or letter that is missing. And also a well-known use of the apostrophe as well, of course, is to show possession. Jaime's pencil rolled under the table. All right. To show possession, we just add an apostrophe S to the person's name. In this case, Jaime. Jaime's pencil rolled under the table. Now, I don't think I have it in here, but also there is, again, depending on the grammar book that you look at, sometimes you're like, well, what happens, teacher, when the name ends in S? Like, for example, maybe like James, right? If he already has an S there, what do you do? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do it, because the grammar books are, you'll see it two ways. It all depends on the grammar book sometimes. Sometimes you'll just see the apostrophe after the S. Since you already have an S, you just add an apostrophe. And that makes it, for example, it could be James' pencil rolled under the table, right? Just adding the apostrophe. Or you could do it as you traditionally do. You add an apostrophe S. So even though you have an S, like James, you would still go ahead and add apostrophe S to it, and you would have James' pencil rolled under the table. Okay, so let me open it up here for our exercise. Like I said, this was a shorter presentation than the other ones that we had. Let's see who's here for today. Okay. And what is the correct punctuation for this sentence? Can someone raise their hand? Or we have someone here already? All right. Mike, are you there?
Hi, Win.
Hello there. What is the correct punctuation here for this sentence?
Exclamation point.
Okay, let's go
What
ahead.
a beautiful sunset.
All right, go ahead and say it again.
What a beautiful sunset.
All right, very good. And you added the emphasis there and the emotion into it. Yes, when you have that exclamation point, it's a very exciting time. So very good there. Very good. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go on to the second one here. All right, so who could help me out with the second one here? How do we correctly add the punctuation to number 2 here? Okay, let's see. Mohammed, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, but actually, I think it's a little bit. How are you, Mary? Asked. Is it a question?
It is a question.
Ah, okay. So, question mark. How are you, Mary asked.
How are you? Mary asked. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it now. Okay. How are you? So there is like, yeah, it makes sense now. Yeah. Thank you.
We'll
So
see.
after, yeah.
No, go
After
ahead.
Mary, yeah, like, how are you? Oh, yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, and see, this illustrates why punctuation is so important. This shows you why it's so important. So if you read it without any of the punctuation, you wouldn't know exactly what you're looking at here. And notice that we have the question mark. It goes inside of the quotes, and there is no comma, right? When you have a question that comes first, then you have the question mark inside the quotation marks, and there is no comma that follows. Mary asked. That's it. All right, very good, Muhammad. Number 3 now. Number 3. Who can help us out with number 3? Anyone have an idea? Let's see here. Oh, okay. Well, Thaddeus, I don't see your microphone attached. I don't see your microphone. Let's see here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and look here. So he passed his tough test. All right, this would probably be, again, another exclamation. He passed his tough test. All right, so we add the exclamation point behind the last word in the exclamation here. All right, I think we have a couple more here. Aha, a much longer one now. Aha, a challenging one. Who's up for a challenge here? Who's up for a challenge? This one is a challenging one. take a minute there and read through it and see what do you think is the best punctuation for this one. This one's going to combine 2 or 3 of the punctuation marks that we talked about. It's like a combo sentence here. Okay, let's see here. Who's going to help out here? Mike again? Okay, Mike. Oh, let's see if it worked. Mike, are you there? I unmuted you, but I guess you're still muted. All right, do we have?
Hello, Win.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
This one is really challenging, huh?
How would you punctuate this one? That's it. This is a combination. A combination. But we have some background there. I'm going to go ahead and mute you, but let's take a look at this sentence here, okay? All right, let's look here. Get this out of the way so we can take a look at it here. Everyone can see this. Okay. All right, so we verified her degree. So we need a period there, of course, to begin. All right, just a simple sentence. And then, of course, begin the next sentence. We have to capitalize the W. Who'd lie about that? All right. She said her PhD was from Harvard, but, and put a comma here before the but, and remember we have a full sentence that comes after the conjunction, so we put the comma here. But she really studied at Acorn University. And of course, it's a proper noun, and so we capitalize, right, the A and the U because it's a proper noun. It's a proper noun for the university. So we had periods, we had capital letters, we had question marks, commas, and capitalization. So this one was a combination of things. All right, and let's look here at our last exercise, number 5. Exercise number 5 here. So can someone help us out with this one? Elena, I don't see your microphone on, so let's see. Well, yeah, Elena, but I don't see your microphone icon. It doesn't register that you. I could unmute you, but I don't see your icon there, Elena. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and take a look here. So I'm just going to read it, and let's see. Jerry, didn't you take out the trash? That stinky mess last night? Jerry, his mother asked. Well, let's see here. Yeah, I thought so, because what I had done is I had changed this. I had changed the example before the class. I didn't update the top part here. So Jerry. So we have a direct address, right, to somebody. So we have a comma there. Jerry, didn't you take out the trash? That stinky mess. All right. Put that in parentheses. And of course, we have a contraction. So we have the apostrophe here. Put this in parentheses because this gives us more information about that trash. Oh, not only is it the trash, but it's that stinky mess, right? Last night, question mark, and then the quotations. Make sure the comma, the period, or quotation mark are inside the quotations. His mother asked. Okay, and then we put a period here. All right, so this one was another combination. Combination of a quote, using the parenthesis, asking a question, and then, of course, putting the period here at the end. Putting the period here at the end. All right. Okay, so for today, we went through the exclamation point, the quotation marks, parenthesis, and finally we did apostrophe. So if you've been to both of our webinars, punctuation 1 and 2, we have covered 8 punctuation marks in English and how to use them and things to look out for when you do use them, especially the commas that we talked about in the first webinar. All right. So that is a wrap for this presentation. Remember, I put a PDF of this presentation within the handouts so that you can download those and you would have these for your own reference later. Look out for the new other webinars that are coming in the rest of this week. I think the next day, next couple of days, I do the grammar one. Some grammar mistakes to look out for. So look out for the coming Avant webinars. Thank you for participating today. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next webinar. Thank you very much.